What an opportunity. Knightscope. The doesn't look like we're going to see the video, but you have the intersection of some very advanced technology and real markets. It's my privilege to be here with Bill Lee, who is the CEO of Knightscope, and we're here to talk about a little bit about the company and also just the opportunity in general. As you look at this advanced technology, you as investors, how do you time the market? And I think there's a very interesting story here. So with that, maybe you could tell us a little bit about Knightscope and what you guys do.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. A little bit. One more time. Good morning. Good morning. All right, let's go. My name is Bill Lee. I'm the CEO of Knightscope. We build autonomous security robots that are operating across the country. You've probably seen us start developing these about 6 years ago when we were told, hey, Bill, you're out of your mind. This will never work. It's hardware and software. It's too complicated. And physical security is not an investment thesis. You need to go away. And 6 years later, we've raised over $40 million. We hold contracts in 15 states. We're operating 24/7, fully autonomous across 4 time zones. And these very large autonomous robots, the primary large one is about 5 foot tall, 400 pounds, roam around corporate campuses, malls, logistics facilities, manufacturing plants, basically anywhere indoors or outdoors you might see a security guard, is to have these machines do the monotonous, computationally heavy work that no human could ever possibly do, and let the humans do the strategic kind of work.
So when we look at what you did, why did you do this? What was the impetus of starting Knightscope? And
so 2 answers for that one. First, on a professional standpoint, I'm an ex-Ford Motor Company executive. I believe self-driving technology is going to turn the world completely upside down. By show of hands, how many of you arrived in a self-driving car today? Exactly. So $80 billion has been dumped into self-driving technology, and almost basically nothing has come out. I believe Knightscope's the only company in the world operating fully autonomous without any human intervention across an entire nation with actual paying clients. I think we're the crawl, walk, run people. Can we get this thing to work from 1 to 3 miles an hour? And when we commanded that, then let's do 3 to 8 and 8 to 15, as opposed to let's go to Pluto first before we stop over at the moon. And I'll predict it now, as I did in 2013, self-driving technology, I want everyone to succeed. This is going to take a very long time, and unfortunately there's about to start a nice self-driving winter because the companies haven't been able to execute. On the personal side, I was born in New York City. Someone hit my town on 9/11. I'm still pretty pissed off about it. So the rest of my life I'm dedicating to better securing our country, and that's why we've been doing what we're doing.
so as you created this opportunity, I think this is actually a fascinating use case for this audience of timing, of, you have something that not long ago was a science fiction idea, which was, I would say, is actually science extrapolation, and then it's become science, and now it's become opportunity and implementation. And from an investment standpoint, how do you time that? How did you convince your first investors to come along for the ride?
We've stayed consistent. I think there's a pretty miserable pitch of mine in 2013. Basically, it's the same pitch over and over again. We're going to go do this. And we've convinced people along the way that either there's a huge financial opportunity for us to build the equivalent of a Raytheon or Boeing or Lockheed Martin, but not for the Department of Defense, but instead to support the Department of Justice and Homeland Security, or self-driving technology, robotics, and AI are going to change the world dramatically, or there's a bunch of people really sick and tired of the ongoing violence that we have across our country. Crime has $1 trillion negative economic impact on the US every single year. So when someone shoots up a school, shoots up a movie theater or a mall, tell me, who gets fired? No one, because no one's accountable for the problem. And that's one of the things that we're trying to rectify. So instead of timing it, is we need to fix this problem, and we're just getting people to come along the way for the ride.
Who, as you went through your progress from starting as an idea, becoming seed funded and angel investing, who were the type of investors who came on board, and are they all from one sector, or are they from multiple sectors? How did people join your venture?
So our cap table is rather unique. We've raised $40 million to date. We're backed by 6,000 private family offices, angel investors, accelerators, and 4 major corporations. No VCs, no PE shops, no hedge funds. I think we've got a shot to build a $30 billion company, and I don't want any kind of silly shenanigans along the way. So we've been very much focused on primarily 3. One is it's greed, fear, or hope, right? So either you're a pure financial investor and you're looking at an opportunity that there is to build a rather large company, or you're a technologist and you believe that these technologies are finally at a point of an inflection. And then last, you're a patriot. You're an NYPD detective, you're FBI, CIA, DHS, and we know that we need to fix this problem, and you're going to support the companies actually trying to solve a real problem for society. And I can assure you that the market for crime is never going to dry up, right? This is an ongoing issue, and the way we offer our technology is on a machine-as-a-service business model with a recurring revenue business for a recurring societal problem.
This is quite interesting. It looks like the intersection of real science and real opportunity. How did you select? How did you time that? Because so much of this is timing and execution.
You don't. You wake up one morning and see the skyline that you grew up looking at get hit, and then a few years later you go and see what happened at Sandy Hook, and at some point somebody's going to stand up and do something about the problem. And maybe it might be helpful for the audience as to why we're in this situation. As I mentioned earlier, the U.S. Department of Defense has a $700 billion budget and gives the troops every level of capability you might ever imagine. There's one person in charge, the Secretary of Defense, and they have a huge military-industrial complex to build you whatever submarine, jet fighter, or tank you might ever want. What doesn't exist on the U.S. Department of Justice and Homeland Security side is there are 19,000 law enforcement agencies, 8,000 private security firms, literally no one in charge, no federal jurisdiction over them, no risk capital, and that's why in the year almost 2020, we have security guards sitting out at 3 o'clock in the morning in the parking lot with a number 2 pencil and a notepad. We would never dare put a soldier in that level of risk, right? But we have 2 million people get up every morning willing to take a bullet for you and your family, and the level of technology that we provide to them as a country is beneath the dignity of this nation.
If you had one last message, what would it be?
Go to Knightscope.com and buy primary shares from us.
I love it. That's great. There you go.